American soldiers came back from the military, his economists all stated that if we assist them to become minority-owned businesses, either as prime contractors or subprime contractors, they could bring in $3 trillion into the industry, back into the economy, and build wealth, within their communities. So it's for a reason. It's for a reason that I stand against ongoing fraud and abuse in these types of programs.
That's a really great message. I want to ask you, John, as far as you know, the guys with the NFLPA, current athletes, is anybody really making big moves to really reach out and help you? Is there anybody that you want to shout out? I'm sure it's an arduous process.
It is arduous, and I want to say this. I want to leave it like this right now, because I'm blessed because of social media. I'm getting so many guys and their families reaching out to me saying, "Hey, John, can you help me? I need your assistance. Hey, John, what do you think about this?" And I'm getting great feedback. I'd like to try to expedite my effectiveness through the proper channels. But right now, men and women are reaching out thanks to social media, thanks to you in this process. I mean, that's the realities of it.
Thank you. That's a great compliment. And for the listeners who watch regularly, I've dedicated my business to creating hope and possibility through sports. I'm honored and privileged to work with guys, John, just like you, who are doing such big, important work and really making society as a whole better for all of us. And I guess I do want to take just a moment, a hot button topic. And if you're not comfortable talking about it, I understand. But let's talk a little bit, if you don't mind, about the social justice issues going on. John, I'm in Milwaukee. I'm 20 minutes north of Kenosha. Are you willing to discuss the social justice, Black Lives Matter issues that we're seeing?
I think that because we're not having national talks, because we're not having policy changes, we're just caught up in a fray of blaming each other. And that is created for a reason. Until there's going to be a better way to effectively work through these issues, through these concerns, then we will continue to have frustration, confusion. We'll continue to have blame. The programs that I've stopped billions in fraud and abuse, initially, when I identified fraud and abuse in federal government programs, I would look around and I would ask, why do I have to do this? It should be, officials that, just like in football, it should be a referee that could throw the flag, blow the whistle. Hey, you're out of bounds. Hey, we're going to kick you out of the game. It's not like that in the real world. And unfortunately, it has gotten so apropos that there is so much energy that's negative that we need to have some serious policy changes and we need to have some serious talks. I've testified in Washington, D.C. on several occasions, and decades ago, I talked about these issues. I talked about these matters. My wife and I we did walk in 2016 when Black Lives Matter arrived to Nashville and they did a protest downtown. We joined in on that. I don't know what their agenda is. One of the concerns I do have, I don't like the fact that these antagonists that are designed to create criminal and mass confusions join in on protest to burn and destroy things and make it look as if a core group of protesters are the reasons why there's problems. I don't like that. And I know for a fact that the federal government has known these types of antagonists that are out there that join in on protests. And that bothers me. I hate it completely. I hate the fact as far as police brutality. Not all police officers are bad, male and female. No, but let me tell you my life story. I remember going to a store. I'm trying to think. It was to pick up my wife's laundry, her dress, a beautiful white dress. She was on the verge of flying to Jerusalem the very next day. A core group of her choir members were going to sing and perform over in Jerusalem. At the dry cleaners, I picked up the dress and I saw there were red stains on the dress, and I told the young lady behind the counter, "Hey, this is not acceptable. You got spots, or you all have spots on my wife's dress." Well, as soon as I got out the door, she calls the police officers. I'm immediately surrounded by 10 officers pulling their guns out on me, and by the grace of God, one said, "Hey, John Pointer. Hey, this is Frank. I used to be a security cop at the Vanderbilt games." So you never know in these crises how these cops are wired in before they get to a scene. So I mean, imagine if that gentleman wasn't there, and these other cops were believing the employee at the dry cleaning place, saying that I was a big, muscular, violent guy causing disturbance. And they surrounded me. I mean, they surrounded me and came out of their cars with their hands on their guns. That's how serious it was.
It's interesting that you say that because Matthew Lawrence from the Baltimore Ravens and I just had a very similar conversation a couple of weeks ago. And I don't think Caucasian people and maybe even other nationalities realize just how often these types of occurrences actually happen to African Americans and, quite frankly, probably other minority races as well. John, that being said, I teach in Milwaukee, a very diverse school, K4 through 12th grade, all in one building. I'm just going to ask you to speak from your heart and give my students a message. I work really hard, to say what makes a hero and what qualities and attributes are you going to develop to become a hero. John, would you please, I know a lot of my students listen to this podcast, speak to them and encourage them, if you don't mind, give them some hope and possibility about what they're seeing in Milwaukee.
Sure. What grade are they again?
For the most part, I teach 9th through 12th grade, but
Yes.
the school I teach at is K4 through 12th grade.
Yes. Hi, students. This is John Pointer. I, too, am a former English high school teacher. I taught 9th grade through 12th grade English. I believe in the fact that we've got to educate ourselves. You have to be allowed to be educated. I think it's great what you're doing, whether you all are going to school right now physically or you're taking courses through your computer at home. Stay focused, enjoy what you're learning, Use it because you will need it in life, and you will also always remember Miss Kayla. You're going to remember her. You're going to remember something, either something funny about her, a nice dress, or you're going to remember a certain class. But you're going to remember that, and it's a reason why, because this is all about building you as a better person, therefore for you to help build a better society. It takes all types. It doesn't mean that you got to have a lot of money to be important in life. Doesn't mean you have to be a singer and a dancer to be important in life. You can be a bus driver. You could work at a food store, but yet you can make contributions back in your community. Most importantly, back to your family, because you also will be a parent eventually, okay? So peace and soul, and you keep doing the best things you guys are doing, okay? And listen to Miss Kayla.
John, thank you so much. Thank you for speaking to the students.
Yes.
Very grateful. I guess, I work with a lot of former athletes, and I'm thinking about the work you're doing with the SBA and helping minorities get their foot in the door, create equal footing, the equality that's so needed. If people are watching or listening today and they say, you know what, I know I was created to have a business, but the deck is stacked against me and I'm up against all odds. John, how can people reach out to you for advice or assistance or information on the program, or even to support you in what you're doing?
Thank you, Kayla. Your best ways to reach me via email. My email address is J as in John, P as in Peter, D as in David, A as in Andy, N as in Nancy, S as in Sally, E as in Eddie, N as in Nancy at yahoo.com. Reach out to me. I will try to offer assistance, guidance, directions. I'm not about trying to get you finances. I'm not about trying to tell you how much to bid on and how little to bid on. It's about just getting you into proper funneling opportunities, because right now there are the government is still going to continue to spend. The state government will continue to spend. And right now, as far as minority businesses, small businesses, all reports indicate that over 42% right now are completely shut down and closed for life. So that means there's a void. So this could get you into the ball game, into the arena. And believe me, the federal government, a Coca-Cola, an Under Armour, or Nike, or the state of Tennessee, they buy toilet paper, they buy ink pens, they buy typing paper, they need maintenance people. So all of these goods and services are bought trillions of dollars from your taxes. So what better way to say, how can I sell back to the federal government, to my particular state, or to major corporations that might need my services? So let's communicate, let's connect, okay?
John, thank you. And just to verify for anybody who might be joining us as we go through this, again, this is Kayla Bradham, host of Legacy After the Locker Room podcast, with today's guest, John Pointer. John, working with the SBA, just to clarify, you can be male or female. You can be African American, Caucasian, Native American, Latina. You can be gay or straight. It doesn't matter. Everyone qualifies. Is that correct? Could you please verify that?
Yes, that's correct. You have to, the federal government and this particular program would like